Amy with Acquisto Real Estate here, and today I'm joined by Mike with Frisco Air. He specializes in heating and air conditioning units, and he offers amazing incentives for us realtors to be able to completely replace our clients' HVAC units at an incredible value for them. So, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Mike Acquisto. I'm glad to see you guys here today, and this is also Mike Acquisto. What? If you don't know what that's all about, this is my father, and he is here today to tell us all the greatness of Frisco Air and explain to us as agents how he can be of great assistance to us going forward, okay? So let me first start a little bit and give some background information on what we have here. So obviously this is my father, and it's impressive to get to have him on here today to be able to share with us. My father later on in life got into air conditioning, heating and air conditioning repair. And as we're going about our business, we definitely have a need for this service. But most importantly, what we don't understand as agents is the true cost of what a unit is for heating and air conditioning. And the majority of the repairs here that get completed are going to be air conditioners as opposed to heaters, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so the units run together, and my father is here because he does a great job of completely replacing the unit. So we're going to go over some cost things with you guys here in just a little bit and show you some incentives that he's put in place for us as Acquisto Real Estate. And so we'll go over that here in just a moment. But first thing I want to do is, well, number one, thank you for showing up here today.
Thank you, Mike.
He's always early. So he was supposed to be here at 8:27. I think he was here like 8:07, and we were able to get all prepped and ready. And he did some videos with Amy and with Logan a little bit earlier. So that was great. So now let's break down the HVAC system for everybody, okay? So the first thing you have here, and I'm going to bring this up on the screen, is the unit outside, right? So if we're looking at the unit outside, this is what are you going to call this?
Condenser.
Condenser. All right. So the condenser is outside, and that's going to be for air conditioning.
Yes.
And then there's going to be the heater that's most likely going to be up in the attic.
Yes.
All right. And the two units kind of run together, but they have very different lifespans.
That's true.
All right. So tell me the average lifespan of the unit outside, the air conditioning unit.
Well, if your unit's 15 years or older, you most likely should replace it.
Okay. And then how long does a unit inside for the heater typically last?
It can last longer, but a lot of times they change both out at the same time.
Okay. So that might be for a few different reasons on why they were replaced both. And we need to concentrate on some of the things here as agents. What we need to do is to get people past certain barriers. So what we have right now in most homes is we have the unit outside and the unit inside. And then they're going to be probably slightly older if they're replacing them. So they're going to be on the old Freon system?
R22.
Okay. And then there's a new standard.
Yeah, it's 410A.
Okay. Very good. So as you can see, he's very knowledgeable. And so he totally knows all the different air conditioning standards. But when we're looking at this, one of the things that we have to look at is sometimes the general public has a very different perception of an HVAC problem and how expensive it is, right? And sometimes we go into a property and we're going to list it and we walk around the home and we're like, uh-oh, they got old units, right? And when that happens, we as agents are going to put a specific price on it. And it's going to be pretty high. Most homes here have 2, possibly 3 units that they would have. And if you were thinking about an HVAC problem, you just immediately, your mind starts racing and you hear big numbers is what you kind of start to think about. So people hear air conditioning problems or older units, and you know, sometimes the mind plays tricks on us. And the client might be thinking $10, $20, $30,000, and they just have like no idea of what it really is. And sometimes it's the fear of the unknown, which is a bigger issue than the actual problem. So in these particular cases, what I like to do is go through and consider completely replacing just the air conditioning unit outside, kind of like you did in this photo. I'm going to take a second and share my screen with everybody and take this and pull it up so everybody at home can see.
That's actually my house.
Oh, all right. And who's your neighbor?
Amy Gasparini.
Oh, wow. You must live in a really nice neighborhood if you have Amy as your neighbor. So that is good. Congratulations to Amy for living right next to my father. So, and my mother. So take that, just think about that one.
A really good air conditioning service.
All right, great AC service. That is good. All right, so on the screen, everybody can see this now. You have 2 units here. The one on the left being the older unit.
Yes.
And the one on the right being the newer Goodman unit.
Yes. Within a year.
Within a year. All right. So good thing that I was able to pick out which one is which. You were talking about the different quality of units. For sake of us discussing here today, we have some deals and incentives in place, and we're going to talk specifically about Goodman. And that's the reason for that. Tell us a little bit about it.
It's just as good as any of the others, and it's less money. It has a 10-year factory warranty. And that's a very good one. And Train, Lennox, they're good. People think they're better. They're really not much better. They just cost quite a bit more. But if that's what they want, Train or Lennox, I have no problem putting that in.
But the big thing that we're looking at here is if you happen to have a listing that's going up to go live and you want to replace the units completely, once they're done and installed, the next person to buy the home isn't going to be like, hey, take that brand new Goodman unit out that is affordable and runs completely fine and does the same thing and replace it with a different one. They're going to be totally fine. With that, you're not going to get any more for your property if it happens to be a different type. So, you know, the case where we get involved as real estate agents is people will say like repair or replace, and they don't necessarily label the exact brand or any of those things. So we'll stay cost conscious and go with the Goodman unit. So that's a photo of what one happens to look like outside. It's a nice looking unit. And what we're looking at here is this happens to match up to the wall, and then a bunch of different things go inside. So there's like this big connector that goes from outside to upstairs, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that runs all the stuff up into the attic, including the Freon and the things that go on upstairs. If we needed to replace a unit and the mind starts racing of air conditioners not working correctly, and we're running into those costs, it's probably the best idea just to go ahead and replace the outside unit 100% completely with a brand new unit. You would still use the same existing connections to go up.
Yes.
There's, there's not going to be, you don't have to like rip this wall apart and, do all types of big things. You're just going to take this unit, the stuff outside, you cap it off.
You have to, if you replace it, the one on the left has R22 in it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to replace it with a 410A, and that means you have to flush the lines to get the old refrigerant totally out, and then you can replace it with the new Freon. And the reason why they changed the Freon is because it's more environmentally safe.
Okay. So when you flush it and take that out, so you use the existing line, you recapture that?
Yep.
Okay. And then you put the new stuff in. And that's all totally included here. And then you put a brand new unit on it. So this means for the most part, they shouldn't have to be up in your attic. The work is predominantly done outside.
Yeah.
Right. And, you want to make sure you check it and service it. You can still use, in most cases, the existing keypads and stuff inside.
Yes.
Okay. So you don't have to do that. In these cases, if the client sees like a 20-year-old AC unit and their mind races and think huge numbers, and then you get it quoted by Frisco Air and you find out that the number is quite a bit less, it just helps to make sure and eliminate a problem. It's kind of like the same thing with a pre-inspection, that we want to do those things and make sure we take care of it in advance, and then it eliminates a bunch of problems. So one of the things that we did here is I sat down with my father and we came up with some amazing pricing that I want to share as we're talking about this here. So these would be special incentives that we have put in place for just Acquisto Real Estate and people that happen to work with us. So what I'm going to do is take this sheet and chat it into you. You will be able to find this later on. It'll be posted up on the Wikipedia page. But this is some pretty impressive stuff. I wasn't aware of exactly how affordable this was and until we kind of got into it. So my dad's really done an amazing job here for us. So let me scroll in here, and I'm going to go back so I can see it. There we go. So we can see this just a little bit bigger. Maybe I'll blow it up even a touch more. Okay, maybe. All right. So what we have here is we're discussing replacing just the unit outside, the condenser, with a new Goodman 14 SEER exterior unit. And the cost to replace them, there's a couple of different ones. And for simplicity here, we just said small, medium, large, 3, 4, and a 5-ton unit. And this is the total cost. So the total cost to replace that unit outside with a brand new one, remove the other one, take care of that, and just replace the unit itself. For the medium is going to be $2,900. For the small, $2,700, and for the large, $3,100. So if you're just walking around and you just need a number for air conditioning, and you only want to replace the unit outside, my father has an amazing offer for you. He doesn't make a ton of money at this, but it does help our clients out dramatically. So it ends up being a win-win for all of us. And he doesn't service it. He just 100% replaces it. So it's going to pass every single inspection because it's going to be amazing with that transferable 10-year warranty. So just think $3,000 per unit, plus or minus just a little bit, depending on the size of the unit for a 14 SEER Goodman. You can, of course, change off of that. So we have some special notes in here. So the fine print would be like, that includes the change out of the exterior unit only. It does not change the ductwork inside. There would be some modifications to fit. It does not change the heater out upstairs. The materials that are, let me see what else I have here. I have a couple of things. Material cost includes the condenser and related modifications and supplies. You can choose additional brands. They're just going to be more expensive. And you can upgrade to different SEERage. So if you want to put in a 16 SEER, and that would be if you happen to live at this house. So if this is for you as an agent, if you want to replace your own unit, then you might go with a 16 SEER inside for your personal property, but you're not going to get any more for that property if you put in a 16 SEER over the 14 SEER if they're reselling it. So we have about $300 to $500 more to add extra SEER. Extra SEER is just more efficient?
Yes, the outside condenser will be much bigger. And what that does is it releases more heat outside of your house.
All right, that's a good explanation to me. And then we have, if you wanted to also add the heating unit upstairs and the evaporator in the attic, then you could have additional charges for those. Think $2,000 for that, plus or minus, depending on the size, of course, ranging from $1,500 to $2,500 for the unit in the attic for the heater and the evaporator.
Yes.
All right. So that would all be replaced, but that would not replace. We would still use the existing ductwork that is in the attic.
Correct.
In addition to that, if you wanted the work permitted, then we're going to have to add a little bit to that for the direct cost of the permits. And the thermostats, if you wanted to replace those and change those out, then that would be the cost of the unit plus $100 for the install. And that is extremely gracious. The timeline to replace this stuff, 1 day per unit, might be a little faster if you have 3 units. Maybe you can get them done in 2 days or something like that. I don't want to push you to be like too fast. I want quality workmanship. But 1 day per unit installed, and they do need to be paid for, right? We need to pay for them up front. There's not a lot of profit involved in this. My dad's just really kind of hooking us up and make sure that our clients get the best possible deal. So the whole thing is designed to just replace it. Because if your client is thinking, or the prospective buyer is thinking that it's a $20,000 problem, and the reality is it's just $3,000 a unit, it might be a $6,000 problem to replace all of them. And they might be like, whoa, I thought that was $20,000. And if you came back even during a repair amendment phase and you said something along the lines of like, hey, we'll replace both units and forget everything else, they'd probably be like, all right, that's amazing, because I view it as a $20,000 fix. On the other side is the buyer. and they might release all the other things that are on your list as well. So this should be a real bargaining opportunity for you as the agent to help your client out. So kind of know these things. It could work on the other side as well. If you happen to have a buyer and you're going through the process, you might know what the cost of replacing just that unit is and use it to your advantage. Ask a question to the other side and see how much they think it is. Go ahead and have it quoted by somebody else, and they'll have a huge number. Then maybe you come back in and say, you know what? I'm going to have that done by Frisco Air. We'll take the credit of $6,000 per unit, and we'll replace one unit, and now you have extra money left to do some things with. Take advantage of this. We're trying to provide an amazing opportunity for everybody to get some really, really good pricing to be able to help your clients out. Now, you did take a couple of pictures that you thought were important to show off. So let's show off what these happen to be here. This would be service related.
This is the evaporator coil, and that's upstairs in the attic with the furnace. It's attached. You won't see it like that. I took the door off. And that needs to be cleaned every so often. As you can see at the bottom, there's it's rusty and dirty. What happens is from the condenser, which is the outside unit, the Freon goes to this here, the evaporator, okay? And that evaporator coil removes it's like a dehumidifier, and it takes the water out of the house. So you'll always have water in that area when your unit's working, and it goes down the side of that unit. So they need to be cleaned. If not, what'll happen is at the bottom there, you'll see that pipe, the white pipe, and that's the drain. Now, many people get this plugged up, and what happens is it'll start to overflow, and there's a overflow valve out the attic outside. And if you've ever seen a house that has like a rusted look on the outside brick, it's because the water is coming out there, and it's not supposed to do that. It's to do it so it doesn't go through the ceiling of your house, but it needs to be unplugged. So that's one problem that comes about. The evaporator, all the air, when you have a return, the big return air duct in your house goes there. It feeds it air, and from there it gets blown out of the blower back outside, and from there it has an explosion, they call it. It's flash gas, and it takes the liquid refrigerant and makes it into a gas, and that goes from this unit to the condenser outside. And as it goes outside, it's taking the heat out of your house and releasing it at the condenser. So if you've ever stood outside your condenser, you can feel the heat when it's on. And what that's doing is releasing the heat out of your home. Now, an air conditioner does not make cold air. It takes the heat out of the air. And that's what happens in the cycle. And then from there, once it gets to the condenser, it starts at the top, the gas, and by the time it gets to the bottom of that condenser, it's back into a liquid, okay, which is the refrigerant, Freon. And then it goes from there, and it cycles back up to this evaporator. And that does that all day long, and that's what keeps your house cool.
Wow, hang on one second. All right, he just dropped some real knowledge there for everybody. I hope you guys took that all in and fully understand exactly what was going on there. I listened intently. I captured most of the information, but you really broke that down exceedingly well.
Thank you.
No, like impressively well. That was actually really good. I should have talked less. That was really good. Now you have some other things here to show us if it happens to be dirty. So tell us what this is, please.
Okay, that's the top of the evaporator coil. Now that particular unit was 5 years old, a carrier unit. If if you go up into your attic, you're going to look at the unit upstairs, which is the furnace part and the evaporator coil, but you won't see any of this. So until I take the door off, you won't know how bad your unit is. And that's mold and dirt, because all the, what we find a lot is dog hair, okay? Any pet dander, any bacteria, everything goes up into this unit and then gets pushed back through your home. This here, you won't know how bad yours is until someone removes the panel. But most companies won't even bring this up because they're in a hurry. They don't want to do this. But that's what it looked like after I cleaned it. So it doesn't have to be that filthy. If you have allergies, it needs to be cleaned. And now they have a new product out. It's a UV light, and that it kills all the bacteria, all the germs coming through, because it all goes through that condenser coil. Okay. Now that's something that if you have kids that are sick, or you want to be environmentally clean, then that's what you need to do.
Yeah, so it would definitely help if you have allergies.
Oh yeah.
Pets, or you get like consistent headaches or problems sleeping or sneezing or things like that. It greatly affects the indoor air quality.
Oh yeah.
The UV light. So the UV light, basically you're gonna purchase a unit, drill a hole, put it in, connect it up, and that's gonna go by this thing inside, right?
Yes, it kills everything coming in and out.
So that's gonna get installed right up in this area?
Yeah.
And then it'll
well, it doesn't attach to that, but it attaches to the side of that unit.
Yeah. And then that's going to clean, it's going to like zap all the stuff.
Yes.
With ultraviolet rays.
Mm-hmm.
So this would probably be something that you could do at your own home if you happen to be an agent and you wanted to clean up your own indoor air quality and be less sick. I don't know if that's the right word, but be healthier. Let's go with healthier. So if you want to do that, that would be something you can do. I am going to take one more second and show you the final photograph at the bottom. And what we have here is this is an image of his vehicle. So my father has a really nice vehicle, so he's fully professional. He's not like part-time on this. He's full-time. He takes care and puts in the effort and the energy, and it will look good when somebody shows up. They won't have a problem. You are fully licensed, right?
Yes.
All right, so he sat through and went through the licensing, which was really impressive. And you enjoy this stuff.
Yeah, I did. I learned a lot.
So that's good. And he just displayed all that to us here as he was talking through everything. So thank you very much for coming on today, Dad. If anyone needs to get in touch with him, he is on our client resource book, so you can find him there. If you need to get the number, he'll be in my phone as Dad, and you can grab it from me, and you can have your clients enjoy themselves. So this would be something that I might take advantage of at your own primary residence if you happen to have a need for it. Now you kind of know the cost, you know how much it should be. Don't just like go blabbing these costs out to everybody, because I want it to be something real special that you get to enjoy. But it's almost, I would say it's at least half the price of what it would be somewhere else. So my dad's doing a really, really good job for us. So he gets some applause for everything he's doing for us. Oh, and the live studio audience reacts positively as well. Thank you very much, Amy and Logan, for being here as well. And a big thanks to my father. We are completed today. So let's go back to the camera, and we're going to sign off and say goodbye.
Goodbye.